Are you making this one tiny mistake in the 8.1 mammalian circulatory system pathway? Because, honestly, it's the exact thing that consistently drops top students right out of that A-star boundary. If you're just memorizing pathways step by step, but you're still losing marks on the final exam, well, you're likely fallen into a massive trap that Cambridge examiners see year after year. The difference between a B and an A-star in biology, it often comes down to this one high-stakes reality: how you process complex multi-step biological pathways. You get this wrong, and your entire grade boundary is on the line. But if you get this right, you literally unlock the top band of marks. Let's get into it.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're mastering 8.1, closed double circulation, and something called the method mark strategy. So let's set an energetic, super-focused baseline for what is easily one of the most crucial topics in the Cambridge 9700 syllabus.
Right, let's ground ourselves in the core biology first. The foundational architecture of this entire topic is closed double circulation. Basically, it's the mammalian circulatory system where blood passes through the heart twice for every single complete circuit of the body. To put that into perspective with a quick, kind of mind-blowing fact, your heart pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood every single day. But if that massive volume doesn't flow in this precise double-loop system, like deoxygenated blood flowing from the vena cava into the right atrium, out to the lungs, and then back to the left side of the heart before heading to the rest of the body, the whole physiological process just breaks down. The theoretical architecture of 8.1 rests entirely on these precise definitions and causal relationships. You absolutely cannot build a high-scoring answer if your foundation is shaky. Examiners demand this level of precision before they even think about awarding you points for deeper analysis.
But here's where the problem really starts. Rote memorization, it's just not enough for the Cambridge 9700 syllabus. The principal examiner reports actually highlight a massive trend. Candidates who reference cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. It's really that simple. Top-performing students don't just memorize. They show a conceptual, connected understanding that transfers perfectly to completely unfamiliar contexts. If you're out here just studying the circulatory system in a vacuum without integrating it with other syllabus areas, you're leaving guaranteed marks on the table. No doubt about it.
And this brings us to a massive turning point. In just a moment, I am going to show you the specific examiner clue that changes your answer completely. But first, you need the underlying framework that actually makes that clue obvious. If you tune out now, you're going to miss the exact strategy that turns a confusing, multi-step problem into guaranteed marks. So hang with me here, because the payoff on this next concept is absolutely massive for your exam confidence.
Okay, so let's dive into Section 1, the method mark strategy, processing complex, multi-step pathways.
All right, here is the 5-step standardized sequence you need for systematic processing within 8.1. First, identify the key elements. You got to deconstruct the question and extract the relevant data from the stimulus materials. Second, apply relevant principles, meaning select your analytical framework. Third, execute your analysis with clear working and notation. Step 4, verify your results against the given context. And finally, Step 5, present it in the appropriate format with absolutely correct scientific terminology. If you follow this procedural framework, you are essentially forcing the examiner to give you marks for your working out. It's a total game changer.
Moving right along to Section 2, the interactive challenge, spot the grade-dropping error.
Take a look at the generic, flawed student answer on the left side of the screen here. I want you to pause for a second and predict exactly where it loses marks. Got it? Okay, now compare that to the top band, examiner-style answer on the right. Notice how the answer on the right uses the concept, then evidence and data, then scientific reasoning, and finishes up with precise examiner wording. It systematically processes the multi-step pathway, whereas the left side just kind of lists memorized facts.
And that interactive challenge leads us directly to this massive alert straight from the examiners. The classic mistake is providing generic answers that are not specific to the question's context. The syllabus literally emphasizes that you must handle and evaluate information effectively. It is a strict requirement to evaluate evidence quality by identifying limitations, assumptions made, and alternative interpretations. But above all else, you must always link every single point you make back to the specific scenario given in the exam paper. Remember, generic biology will only ever get you generic grades.
Which brings us to Section 3, Examiner Warnings, the top 3 exam traps.
What's really interesting here is how easily these top 3 traps can be avoided if you just use our 5-step framework. Number 1, examiners report that students constantly confuse cause and effect in closed double circulation pathways. Number 2, in the absolute rush of the exam, students forget to check their units and precise terminology. And number 3, which we literally just hammered home, answers are left floating, totally disconnected from the context given. If you rigorously apply Step 4, verify results, and Step 5, present format with correct terminology, these errors just disappear from your paper. Poof, gone.
Now, another huge area where students lose marks is data interpretation. Assessment objectives for 8.1 also target experimental skills in handling data, which means you have to select the correct statistical test for your analysis. If your goal is comparing means, you got to use a t-test. Dealing with categorical data, that's chi-squared. And if you're testing for relationships between variables, well, you use correlation tests. Extracting data from tables and graphs and then calculating the relevant statistics correctly is just a totally non-negotiable skill for A-star candidates. You have to have this locked down.
All right, let's recap the major wins from today's explainer so you can lock them all in. First, apply the method mark strategy to capture every single process mark available. Second, you must always link your biological knowledge directly to the specific exam context. And third, here's a highly effective memory hack for you. Create your own first-letter mnemonic for the key terms in 8.1. Taking the first letters of sequential terms in a complex pathway and making a memorable, maybe even slightly goofy phrase will absolutely save you when that exam timing pressure kicks in.
But here is the ultimate catch. You can have perfect biological knowledge. You can memorize that 5-step method mark strategy perfectly. You can even avoid the top 3 traps. But what if the hidden cause of your lost marks lies somewhere completely different? What if you are actually misinterpreting the specific command words the examiner is using to dictate the mark band?
Well, this is exactly why checking out our next explainer on command words is absolutely mandatory. To ensure you don't trip up at this final hurdle, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Practice those past paper questions, apply the frameworks we discussed today, and I will see you in the next explainer where we're going to solve that command word mystery once and for all. Keep focused, keep learning, and go ace those exams.